Excited to have you on because you wanted to talk about standing out from the competition, because today's workforce is different. It is getting saturated. More and more people are chasing this, freelance or entrepreneurial dream. And you have learned a lot in growing your business. And I'm excited just to tap into your insight and teach everybody here. So let's jump into it.
Here's the thing, you could be the best at what you do, but if you don't know how to get clients and retain clients, you're going to chronically undercharge, experience feast and famine, have challenges standing out in a sea of samesies, right? And I don't want to speak about getting clients because that's covered extensively well on your podcast and other places, and I'm sure you do it well in your course. But I want to speak about retaining clients, it's a known fact that it's cheaper to have recurring customers than acquiring new leads or clients. And, it depends on the quality of the work you do, the results, and your expertise level. There's no doubt. But it also means that you need to provide stellar customer service to new clients and prospects who are interested in working with you. And as service providers, and particularly myself, I rely on the power of email communication. And, it doesn't just stop at onboarding. I mean, it means sending out timely project status updates, acknowledging your clients' efforts, and, when they fill out the intake questionnaires and whatnot, giving you access to their content, inviting you into their Slack channel. I'm just citing examples here, but the point is we need to acknowledge the effort they're making to make us feel a part of their team and producing conditions that help us create favorable outcomes for why they hired us in the first place. Of course, there are emails you need to send to prospects who've contacted you, or ones you're going to turn down, or even the ones you want to pitch to get on their shows like this one, and projects those really great projects. It's in the power of writing your asks in your emails in such a way that they are opened and responded to, whether those requests that you make are met with a favorable response or just plain rejection. Clients are going to remember this one thing, end of the day, how badass you were. But they're also going to say what a joy it was to work with you through the duration of the project, just because the way you communicated. And, that's why there's a need for effective communication. And also partly this thing that, I'm a big advocate for, it came about because I'm Asian. I've been told by my parents to often play by the rules, work hard, do your best, avoid conflict, never complain, right? It's just inherent in my culture. So I, for one, have always looked the other way whenever there's a sign of a verbal conflict or something. I want to be the nice girl. It's not something I'm necessarily always proud of, but it's just who I am. And asking for things like raising prices or quoting a big fee, like a 5-figure project, was such a big no for me. It was such a hard thing for me to do in the beginning, but it's gotten so much better because I rely on scripts. I take out the drama and I have those scripts, email scripts that I use to communicate what I want.
You're really hammering in what I do teach my students, because it is that communication that is key. And for instance, I had somebody applying for a job, and then they were waiting several days to follow up. And I'm like, no, how people are going to notice that responsiveness and that attentiveness, even if you don't have the answer right now. And so I think of little things like that really add up to that reputation that you're talking about. So I absolutely agree with that.
And, there's a way you can maintain the balance between being professional and personal. And one thing, and I'm a copywriter, so I like injecting personality into my emails. I don't want you to send boring ass emails ever, because if you're sounding like everyone else, you're not going to obviously get hired for the job. And I think the way I write my emails, professional emails, is I kind of like to inject my personality. And there are kind of 6 ways you can do that. You can still be respectful, personable, and what have you. But I know when you add personality into your emails, you're definitely going to get, you're going to get a response from the client. So I can talk about a little bit of that. What does that look like?
Yeah, because I tell you, I see a lot of, I'll call them cover letters. They're not really not, but in this day and age, we'll call them a cover letter, those initial outreach emails. And I'm like, that doesn't make me want to have you on my team and work with you every day if you're boring and you're robotic. And also, how are you going to separate yourself from some of the service providers that are going overseas, right? You have to. I teach my students to show up as the team player, the person you want to be communicating with every day. And so, do you mind talking about those 6 personality ways to?
No, not at all.
Personality.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. So here are 6 ways. And of course, this is not an all, not exhaustive list. You can obviously add more. So 6 ways, know what your personal values are. We all have them, right? Number 2 is have personality elements. And I'm going to kind of like give you some examples of what that looks like. Use fun elements into your copy, even if it's a professional email. So the first thing that comes up to me is a GIF. Yeah, you could use a GIF, right? Especially if you're in the online marketing space, it's a more of a casual kind of a thing. Unless you're working for a lawyer or you're in the medical practice, obviously you don't want to be that fun. So kind of like tone down on that. Copy styling is number 4. You can style your copy to kind of like draw more attention to it. You can talk about your results and success, not in a braggadocious sort of a way, but in a way that it's going to kind of like get noticed. And last but not the least, it's very simple. Have a fun sign off, right? Unless, again, if you're working in the law space or medical, where sign offs are like, and I've seen these, like yours sincerely or yours faithfully, you don't have to do that. You can have a fun sign off at the end of every email. And I kind of usually do with my professional email.
So when I used to work for the military, I was a GS civil servant. I had to end my emails with VR for very respectfully, and anti-establishment Emily hated being told what to do. Everyone would just put VR. So I would be the rebel, Amisha, and just spell it out because I had to be different, but it was so stupid. So how do you end your emails? I want to go back and look, like, what are some of the ways you do it?
So here are a few of the ones that I've used. I've said fist pump, then my name, your future BFF. If this is a client that I know and I like, or, if I've stalked this person, even if it's a lead and I know that that's their style, they like a bit of, sparkly stuff in their copy and they're okay. If they're going to get an email like this from me, which says your future BFF, I know they're not going to be offended, right? So obviously know your audience.
Yeah.
I've used I Gotta Go, my kid ate a crayon, which is a true story. He did in one of my emails. I actually do that. There's one called Rainbows and Daisies Make Me Feel Malazy. I don't remember which email that was, but I have used it. It's in my scripts too. The one that I keep coming back to, which is a consistent one, is it's really simple and it's not unique. I've seen other email marketers use this. It's first name, what I'm feeling in the middle, and then my last name. So that's my typical sign off. So.
Okay. And I'm not saying steal these, but like think about how you can use this, especially with like the client you're reaching out to, for those of you listening. So, my brain goes crazy because I work with a lot of creatives and designers. So like they would have fun with that. They would appreciate that. So some of the other things we wanted to talk about was how to really use your writing to stand out over your competition. And you talked about a strong guarantee. And I was kind of curious, like, how can freelancers use that? Like, I get it when it comes to sales, but is there something like freelancers and service providers can use?
That's a great question. And I'm going to kind of like be a little impromptu about this because although we don't have a formal guarantee in place, like I think, well, at least in my contracts and my invoices, I definitely state that, this is creative work, that there are no guarantees. Like you can't come back asking for a refund. Point being. But I think I sell myself well enough in the email, in the pitch, as well as the sales presentation when I get that discovery call or sales call, where I kind of like walk them through the process of how I do what I do. They're kind of sold right there. So it's really how you position yourself. So that's great. I don't really have something that I can come up as a script. I should kind of like create that and send that to you. But yeah, it's really how you sell yourself on that first call. Like, this is my process. I'm not like a wordsmith. And this is because I'm a copywriter, because that's what a lot of, well, not the good clients, but some people may think like, hey, she's just coming up with these things on the fly. No, I'm not a wordsmith. I have a process in place. When you work with me, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is why I do it, right? It's not because I like to do it. This is why we do it. So you can get this ROI. When clients hear, or the prospects on a sales call, when they hear like your process is so detailed and fine-tuned and methodical, they kind of like, yeah, take my money. Like, this is like so well thought of. I'm in good hands. So that itself kind of, is sort of a guarantee sort of a way. Like I stand by my work. This is why I do what I do. And this is why it's going to benefit you. So yeah, there's no formal script for that for a service provider, but it's just really how you position and sell yourself.
Yeah, I asked you a hard question there. And You gave the good answer because as service providers, we all need to develop our unique methodology, our framework. And so you coming into those calls, presenting that, not necessarily giving away the strategy, but
Yeah.
just showcases that you have a tried and true method that works and gets results. So that I like that. That was a good answer. For anyone listening, can you explain like what the guarantee would be on sales letter, like a sales page?
Few things that you want to keep in mind. Know your one big promise with that offer. Say it's a digital course. Like, what is the single most important outcome of your offer? What are you promising? Let me give you an example. Toddler will sleep 10 hours straight in 30 days guaranteed, right? So that is the promise you're making. Is it a measurable outcome? Like, you want to think time, size, pounds lost, conversion, throw in a number. The more specific you can get with your guarantee, the better. If you're writing for a course or whatever it is, give your guarantee a name, right? Like brand it. You could say something like, try this offer and give that offer a name, whatever that offer is, risk-free for a number of days. Or I'll give you another example of the guarantee that we used in one of my clients' sales pages. It was for she's an elementary teacher. She has a membership where she teaches homeschoolers how to keep them entertained, engage, and educate them. So it was easy as child's play. And in parentheses, we put not the movie, 14-day money back guarantee, because her theme was fun and, kind of like education is kind of like sort of a play. So we wanted to kind of, no pun intended, play on that theme and have that guarantee name, like easy as child's play money back guarantee. How do you write it is like, there's so many ways you can write that guarantee. Most important thing you want to keep in mind is how you're going to elaborate. You want to elaborate how you're going to reduce the risk for your buyer. So you could say something like this. You've bought all the courses, tested the programs out there, and, there's nothing quite like yours, right? You could say like, we have had thousands of people who have enrolled in this program, and these are the results they've received. So there's social proof right there. Then you talk about 3 to 5 emotional, tangible wins that they're going to achieve in that guarantee period. So in 30 days, the program is like 60 days, but in 30 days, you're going to have like these top 3 wins, right? So they can start visualizing, they can start like getting that message and like, wow, in 30 days, I can at least make so much progress, right?
Yeah.
Obviously state the guarantee length and include a, snippet of how the person going to get a refund if they don't like what they, enroll for. Bonus point, if you're a real badass, you could include what went into the creation of the product, like how it was made, how long it took you to come up with the program, how it's designed. You could say something like, hey, I'm a copywriter. I do this, but I didn't just create this program on the second day of my career. I've been writing copy for years. I have, written like 10, hundreds of launches, and this is what went into it. And I've tested my processes. So I know this is not like, crappy stuff. This is like proven stuff. So talk about how it was made. And yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, I love it. I know my copywriting students and friends are going to eat that up. And gosh, just talking to you, I'm like, yes, you're hired. Like, come help me. So I love it. What do you think? Like,